Spaghetti on Cowboy Carter is without a doubt named after the genre of movie called the spaghetti western. These were western films shot in Europe between 1964 and 1978 and directed predominantly by Italian directors, hence the name spaghetti. The foremost director of this genre was Sergio Leone and his Dollars trilogy, of which the third and arguably most famous installment was called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You might have heard of it. It starred Clint Eastwood as the iconic man with no name. This movie is widely regarded as the definitive spaghetti western. In the first film of the Dollars trilogy, titled A Fistful of Dollars, Leone used a distinct visual style, with large face close-ups on the characters to tell a story of a hero entering a town that is ruled by two outlawed gangs. Clint Eastwood's character, No Name, was not heroic. He was unshaven, sarcastic, insolent, and an anti-hero. He had personal goals in mind, and distinct visuals to boot. His squint, his cigarello, his poncho. Spaghetti westerns redefined the genre from clean-shaven to rough-and-tumbled anti-heroes. The protagonist was also an antagonist, hence Beyonce being both a hero to so many and a problem by pointing out that America still has a problem. When I think of modern-day anti-heroes, the first one that comes to mind is the Joker. He embodies both a villain and somebody who makes you laugh. Because comedy is a double-edged sword. On one side of comedy is immense pain. And just like African-American communities have endured so much pain, they have also created so much art out of this pain. The Joker had a prop of a gun that had a flag that came out of it that said bang. In a Renaissance promotional image, Beyonce is seen here with a gun with a flag coming out of it that says bang. This is no doubt tied to the Joker. They are inextricably linked. She's also seen in what looks like a bank with safety deposit boxes, and the Joker would use this bang gun as one of his deadly practical jokes in his bank heists. But why is the Joker the way he is? We learn his backstory has to do with childhood trauma. This is where the anti-hero trope comes from. Once we learn the backstory of these villains, we see that they are just a symptom of the system that did them wrong, much like the African-American people. I think it's interesting how Beyonce is in a bank and safety deposit box, which indicate wealth or generational wealth, but the slaves who actually built America up did not get to profit off of the wealth, even though they're the ones who built this country's economy. I think Beyonce is going to be embodying this kind of anti-hero villain who is here to make right the history that was done wrong to her ancestors, like the Joker and like the cowboys in these spaghetti westerns. Also note that spaghetti is the only title that is in the shape of what a caricature of a gunshot would be. I've been imagining Beyonce as a sort of anti-hero in the film she's making, so this makes a lot of sense to me. The defining aesthetic of Leone's films was his ability to create an immense amount of tension with very little, as they had very low budgets. This economic filmmaking style includes sweeping long takes with camera movement, elaborate blocking, and choreography. Characters that walk into frame, pop up from obscurity, or turn to reveal their faces. Not only does this create depth in the scene, but it also creates incredibly tense moments when the camera and characters are still. When we are introduced to shifty outlaws and who stand and stare down people, we feel it immensely, even though the shot is so simple. You can draw direct parallels between this opening scene from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly to Wim Wenders' neo-western Paris, Texas, which Beyonce and Nadia Lee Cohen reference in the teaser for Texas Hold'em. To note, another famous spaghetti western was Sergio Corbucci's 1966 Django, which was paid homage to by Quentin Tarantino in Django Unchained. Another seminal part of the spaghetti western was their scores, which were, by and large, conducted by Ennio Morricone. He single-handedly defined the genre of the spaghetti western. You would recognize his score from this famous theme he wrote for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. What needs to be understood is that Morricone was a magician of sound. He had an uncanny ability to combine instruments in original ways. Slapsticks, whistlings, electric guitar noises, grunts, electronics, howls in the night, anything was welcome and had a dramatic effect. He also liked to use the human voice not just as a conduit for prose or verse, but as a melodic instrument in and of itself, including calls, whistles, whoops, and hollers found in the scores of spaghetti westerns. Here's an example. You can recall the hoops and hollers in Texas Hold'em. This ain't Texas, hey, and no Hold'em, hope. Many spaghetti westerns actually eclipse the popularity of the genre that inspired them, and to this day they serve as inspirations for contemporary film. A number of tropes that continue to influence filmmaking today originated with the spaghetti western antiheroes, tense dramatic close-up shots, and a particular style of colorful opening credits among them. I think Beyoncé's Country will eclipse the popularity of country music as we know it, just like the spaghetti western eclipsed Hollywood's western movies.